are here today to celebrate a milestone, the culmination of the planning, design, and financing phase of the new St. Martin General Hospital and the initiation of the construction phase of the project. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few people and organizations a bit later in my speech, but I will start by saying that we're all here today because of a dedicated group of professionals that share a vision and determination to see this project to completion. But not only to complete this project, but also to ensure that this project is executed with integrity, transparency, and sustainability. We are a group driven by a vision to deliver quality health care for the country St. Martin, but also to make sure that the hospital is financially sustainable. Driven by a conviction that what we're doing is transformational. Driven by the understanding how many people's lives will be impacted by the success or failure of our group. And while it's important to celebrate and acknowledge this achievement, before I discuss the new hospital, I'd like to take a moment to frame the project into a broader context. The new hospital will deliver much needed space and modern facilities to expand the services to the people of St. Martin. However, we are not waiting for the construction of a new hospital to begin the expansion of these services. Already recently, a brand new ophthalmology department has been opened. And again, I'd like to thank the Netherlands, the Best Islands, again for their cooperation and partnership in that. And as a matter of fact, I think the ophthalmology department has some of the most state-of-the-art equipment that I've ever seen, both in the United States and Holland. And I think it's something that the feedback from the community has been really tremendous. But as well as an ear, nose, and throat department, orthopedics, and neurology. Again, the feedback from the community has been tremendous. The fact that patients no longer need to go through SFB for the referrals to be referred to an ophthalmologist on the French side, again, this has been received with welcome arms. This means not only results in terms of better care and less waiting time, but it also translates into less administration for SFB. As we look at how do we bring down the operational costs of SFB, things like this help to reduce their expenditures. With repairs to the SMMC funded by the World Bank, more service and space will be coming online, ensuring an improvement in services while the new hospital is under construction. We certainly recognize that the construction of a state-of-the-art hospital doesn't, on its own, guarantee an improvement in quality. We're very cognizant of that. We're equally focused on the hard parts of the construction of the hospital, but as well as the soft parts, meaning the human resource portion of it. How do we grow it? How do we develop it? How do we nurture it to improve? Plans for continuing medical education, as well as a commitment to work towards an internationally recognized quality standard, or better known as a JCI accreditation, is a critical part of our redevelopment plan. We're very grateful to the World Bank team for also recognizing the significance of this and of the implementation of a quality standard as being an important part of our financing structure. And they've supported this with funding out of the $25 million in their first tranche for support. Again, while this is all happening, in parallel, we're working on many, many other things. As a matter of fact, today, our French colleagues are here because we signed a cooperation agreement that actually has been pending for quite some time. Really, it's a simple statement that the two sides of the island are going to find a way to work together to synchronize in terms of the development of care, looking towards the goal of complementary services rather than competing services. We're a small island, and we want to plan together. We want to coordinate our insurances, our payouts. How do we synchronize and improve the movement of patients back and forth over the border? Again, that protocol, that agreement was just signed today. As a matter of fact, just an incident, a coincidence. But not only that, our cooperation extends further. Our public health department, insurance companies, and hospitals were working together with Aruba, Curacao, Best Islands, and the French side, of course, in terms of synchronizing items such as how can we exchange specialists easier between our islands? Simple things that if we approve a prescription drug in one island, why do we make the drug companies approve them in each of the subsequent islands? Can't we coordinate and say once it's been approved in one of the islands, that it's approved in all the other islands as well? addressing the high cost of prescription drugs by the formation of the GBS committee, general health insurance or national health insurance, for sure, to be a battleground legislative topic. You look at the United States, there's no topic that divides a country more than the discussion about health care, access to health care, and who's going to pay for it. But we as a government are committed that everybody should have access to affordable health insurance. After all, what's the point of building a new hospital if you don't have the insurance to pay for those services, right?
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
I have one question. It was really for the Minister of Justice, but I know the ministers have collective responsibility for all ministries. Quite recently, there was the issue of the appointment of a director of the prisons. We learned that there were 10 candidates, 7 from Holland and 3 from St. Martin. But they chose 3 out of Holland to be the director. They have 3 candidates that they are putting up. Who is this candidate? We'd like to know, and how soon will be the appointment being finalized?
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. The Council of Ministers, yes, will review. However, the advice has not reached the Council of Ministers yet, so you probably have more information than we do. It comes to the Council of Ministers, and there it will be deliberated, and that hasn't happened yet.
Again, is for Minister Johnson. We have 2 hotel projects that are supposed to get started. One is pending from since 2016, which is the Pearl of China for the area of Cahill, Bel Air. And we also have the one of Sunwing for the former property of Sonesta Great Bay. Can you give some indication as to what is happening with these projects starting construction-wise?
Well, the Pearl of China, of course, has been a long-winded discussion within government, within even the campaign trail. So I think that speaks for itself why there isn't any Pearl as yet. So as it regards to Sunwing in particular, they're busy going through their procurement process with VROMI, making sure that they have all the building permits, all the necessary approvals to ensure that that starts within short. So they're going through that entire process. Which lends over to the Ministry of TIAT. We've also been finalizing those commitments that they need from TIAT and ensuring that within very short that the Sunwing Group builds their Planet Hollywood resort. Thank you for your question, Mr. Brown. That requires all ministries to be involved. So the Ministry of Justice would have to lend its support in regulating and ensuring that there is the necessary checks and balances throughout. So that would first have to happen. Is there harassment to tourists? Is there inaccessibility of certain businesses? Are people going over their bounds? What is permissible? So that entire discussion has to happen. I'm unsure of full unrest. I haven't seen any major report in that regard, but there has always been that discussion. We do need to regulate that. That has been an ongoing discussion before this government, before the previous government, before the governments before that. So that's why I made mention of before in reference to the boardwalk. We have to do structural solutions. In Antigua, for instance, there is a designated area where persons are sectioned off, that they're only allowed to braid hair, that they're only allowed certain services that they can provide to persons visiting the beach. That's something maybe we could look at, but all of those areas and discussions are being discussed within the Ministry of TIAT. I don't believe in a quick fix. A quick fix only puts on a nice cosmetic image. It looks good for a quick photo op, and at the end of the day, it doesn't solve the problem. I'm trying with ongoing discussions with police officers, with persons from within the ministry, how we can find a long-term structural solution. And that, of course, would have to come from within other ministries. Justice will have to form part of those discussions, and we are going to have those discussions within short. And we are indeed closely monitoring the situation, because the upcoming tourist season, as it continues to get in high gear, and we anticipate it to be a surely better number than last year's numbers, is something that we need to focus on collectively as a country and as a people, that we do what we have to do, and at the end of the day, the tourists leave having a well-rounded experience, where there's hospitality, where there's good service, where they don't feel harassed. And I'm sure if I walk down the same boardwalk or in normal clothes, they might ask me to braid my hair, so it all depends, at the end of the day, how we control, how we do it, and we make sure that we do it properly, and that everybody gets a fair chance to make an honest day's living, not at the expense of others, but at the expense of making sure they do it right.
We having a function this Christmas season, boy. Festival Village, 8 p.m. December 8th. Come win prizes with family and friends. You don't want to miss this, seeing that it is time for Wally Hamilton Christmas Bingo Spectacular. December the 8th. Yes, folks, the Lion Wally Haverton Christmas Bingo Spectacular is on Saturday, December the 8th at the Festival Village. Tickets are available at the Lion's Den, at Van Dorp, at Big D Photo Studio, and from all Lion members, going at only $10, $20, or €10. So folks, get your tickets in time. It's going to be quite a spectacular bingo. Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact Wib today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Windward Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you for?
In a meeting with the Consumers Coalition, that this meeting was with the financial manager of the SZV, we were informed about a setback in revenue earnings for SZV because of the hurricane. So companies closed, workers were sent home, so no more premiums were coming in for SZV. So SZV had plans to request recovery funding from the Dutch to compensate the losses caused by Hurricane Irma. In the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, we could read the following about SZV. The Social Insurance Fund reported that there was minimal damage to its building and inventory, and offices resumed operations 5 weeks after the passing of Hurricane Irma and Maria, allowing SZV to operate at full capacity. According to SZV, a substantial decline in premiums is expected for 2018. Until the economy recovers, health, which is ZV, accident, OV, and sovereign insurance schemes, Sistantias, are most likely to be adversely affected. It is essential that vulnerable persons maintain their health insurance coverage. To ensure continuity of health insurance coverage, the recovery strategies includes, number one, a solution to ensure coverage. Are they going to compensate us for the premiums increase announced by Minister Lee in Parliament? And B, mitigate the financial risk of SZV. How are they going to reduce the deficit of the health care funds? In addition, businesses are expected to encounter challenges in paying AOV, the pension contribution, during the recovery. While the funds are considered to be relevantly solvent and can absorb this loss, it is vital to accelerate the development of legislation to increase the AOV recipient age from 62 to 65 to help encounter the economic aspect of this. We have already heard of the reform of the APS pension, and that is being now scheduled to take place, if it is approved at Parliament, for the 1st of January 2019. So basically, the SZV being 62, moving that also to 65 would be, a next step in that. We have heard from the Prime Minister and Minister Lee. They spoke about the 25 million project presented and approved by the World Bank and the Dutch government out of the Trust Fund for St. Martin for better construction of a new hospital. But we didn't hear from the Prime Minister, neither Minister Vesa, about the project delivered to the World Bank to fund SZV. So, dear members of the press, did you and can you please find out what is the status of the compensation project for SZV? While we are interested to hear what will be the project to compensate SZV premium losses, we are also anxiously awaiting the project to the World Bank to make the workers and their family and the more than 13,000 poor and needy households of St. Martin more resilient by paying for the healthcare premium increases announced by Minister Lee in Parliament. Is this project still on the drawing board? We also note that questions was asked in Parliament to the APS about the increase of the tariffs to be able to actually the investment of the APS in helping fund the new hospital. A number of questions was asked, and it will be very, very interesting to know what will be the answers that will be coming out of those questions.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Today, as Minister of General Affairs, we will discuss changes to the pension system for St. Martin civil servants. The civil servant's pension is the most complex part of the civil servant's legal position. Next to that, it is also a very sensitive one and a very expensive one. In 2015, Madam Chair, it became clear that the present pension plan was no longer sustainable. Government had great difficulty meeting its financial obligations, and APS reported that the cover ratio was sinking below 100%. This meant in order to ensure the survivability of the pension plan premiums would have to be increased or the system would require a drastic reform. With the understanding that increasing the premiums was not an option, reform was a choice. The draft national ordinance that is before you today is the product of that reform. To assist government with the changes in this draft law, a work group was formed, consisting of members of the KOA and advisors of the Ministry of VSA and the Ministry of Finance. In January 2017, the government and the unions WICSU, WITU, ABFO, and NAPB in the KOA signed a covenant in which parties agreed to make changes to the pension law as mentioned in the draft law. Some members of the work group are also present today to assist government and parliament. For further elucidations on this reform, I now introduce you, Madam Chair, if you permit, Mr. Lute Hawkins of the Department of Personnel and Organization, who will first give a PowerPoint presentation on the why, who, what, how, and when of the process that got us here today.
What I would like to touch on is the why, the need, why we need to reform, who was in the work group of changes, what are the major changes and other changes that are proposed, how we are going to implement it, and when this is supposed to take effect. Why reform? As we look at the graphs, we see a general trend that is also visible on St. Maarten. People are living longer. Research done also on St. Maarten shows that this also applies to us, and that the fact that people are living longer, it means that they also need to receive pension for a longer period of time. The basics of a pension plan are, of course, that it is to provide for an income after retirement until death. The required reserves are based upon the average life expectancy. If these increases, more reserves are needed. Employers pay approximately 19% and employees approximately 6% of their salary into the as a percentage together to 25% into the pension plan. APS receives these funds and invests them in order to accumulate more funds to cover future pension payment needs.